Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ina and I'm here today to talk a little bit about Paphiopedilum orchids, these super cute and amazing plants. I know that there are many people that love them and there are other people that are not really into them. To be honest, I love them. I think the shape of the flower is very interesting, and also the pattern of growth. These plants, they have also beautiful leaves. So if you like foliage plants, Paphiopedilum are quite nice. I know that they don't have like this kind of large leaves, but the pattern is interesting. I find it interesting. It's basically they are mottled. Some of them, we have mottled leafed puffs, and we have the ones that are not mottled, that are only green. But these ones that we have mottling on the leaves, I find them so beautiful. I'll give you a close-up during this video. But coincidentally, all of the trees here in front of me today, they are all mottled leaves puffs. So I find their leaves so nice, so beautiful, gorgeous plants. And they also bloom and their flowers are beautiful. Something important and interesting about these plants is that they are from Asia, mainly the far east of the world. A lot of these species are from Indonesia. I think some of them are from Thailand as well. And that they are not epiphytes like other orchids from Asia, like Phalaenopsis, Vandas. They are usually, most of them, they are epiphytes, which means that they grow on top of branches and trees. These guys here, for me, they are guys, I'm sorry. Like this one isn't supposed to be a guy because the name is Mrs. White, so this one should be a she. But anyway, these plants, they are not epiphytes. Most of them are terrestrial or semi-terrestrial orchids. They grow on the floor, the canopy of the forest, on moss. Some grow in cliffs as well. So it tells a lot about these plants. Because they are semi-terrestrial, you can actually pot them in a different variety of medium. It's not so easy for you to suffocate the roots. You can go with coco coir very well. Maybe, I think you can also pot them in soil with perlite and bark. But I will use the same medium that I use for all of my orchids. I will stick to moss and bark because I know that they go and they do very well in moss and bark. Another thing, they are known as sleeper orchids. I don't have experience with other sleeper orchids, only with Paphiopedilum. They tend to grow quite slowly. So if you are the kind of person that prefer plants that grow fast, don't go for them. They don't grow fast. We do have some hybrids. I have the Paphiopedilum moldy green. I'll place some pictures around here for you to know. If you like something that grows faster than the other ones, I would advise you to get this one. It blooms for me around twice a year, which is amazing for Paphiopedilum, but most of them will bloom once a year, or maybe they will skip 1 year and they will rebloom in the following year. You need to be patient with these guys. If you are patient enough, they will reward you with beautiful blooms. The blooms are very interesting. Usually they don't have any fragrance, but they have this huge pouch. Is usually where the insect will pollinate, will get the pollen to pollinate the plants. And I found that like the petals and they are so elegant and so, I don't know, this one at least, look at that. It's a beautiful flower. It's different from other orchids and I love it so much. Again, I love Paphiopedilums. Although they look like Phalaenopsis, if you look at their leaves, you're gonna say, oh, it's like a Phalaenopsis orchid. Actually, they are not, because they are not monopodial like Phalaenopsis and Vandas. They will grow one leaf after another one. But if you think about, I have something here. Actually, look at that. I'm sorry. I'm very in love. I know that we're talking about Paphiopedilum, but look at this orange. Anyway, this one is a symposium orchid, so it means that we will grow one pseudobulb, another pseudobulb, another pseudobulb, another pseudobulb. This one is a symposium as well, but instead of growing pseudobulbs, it will grow fronds. So this is one frond. I have here another frond with another flower spike. So we'll grow one frond after the other frond, but doesn't have structures to store water. Like Cattleyas and Oncidiums, they have structures that store water inside, which means that you need to be careful with its watering. It's a plant that loves its moist. It's not for you to keep the medium soggy, but you need to pay attention because if you don't water it enough, it will be dehydrated and you'll notice on the leaves. Like this one doesn't have any roots. I'll give you a close-up afterwards, but you can see how dehydrated its leaves are. Thinking about this orchid care, another thing that I would tell you is they are very good for houseplants because they don't need much light. So you can basically place them by a windowsill or keep them, I don't know, even in your office with artificial lighting, you know, the place where you have more shadowing, places where you don't have bright light. You don't need to provide artificial light to this plant, and it grows on moderate to intermediate temperatures as well. You don't need any artificial thing to bloom and rebloom these orchids, so they are amazing for houseplants. They are very, very easy, and although they don't bloom so much, I think if you are looking to have blooms all the time, they are not for you. But if you are okay with a plant that will bloom maybe once a year or once each 1 year and a half, and that will give you with long-lasting blooms, beautiful blooms, sometimes very large and different, and that you don't need to provide any artificial means to keep it alive, Paphiopedilums are for you. I do think they are very easy plants to take care of, and they are very, very interesting. So that's what I want to tell you today. This video is going to be more like a practical video because I have so many plants to report and I have many Paphiopedilums. I need to report this one as well, but because it's in bloom and it will bloom again soon, I won't do it now. I'm waiting for its blooms to go, so then I will report that. But I want to show you, since I do have this beautiful bloom here, my husband, who edits most of my videos, he loves Paphiopedilums. He doesn't care, he doesn't look after any plant, he doesn't know how to do it, just dry them. But the blooms that he likes the most are Paphiopedilums. He looks at them and you're like, wow, he thinks they are wild. And I think lots of people look at these flowers and think, wow, they are so different. I love them so much. Let me show you something before I start this video. Talking about repotting, I'm gonna keep this beautiful blooming here. I have here 2 Paphiopedilums that I have to report. Just to give you a background, this one is a friend of mine, Chiara. I don't know if you're watching this video. Thank you very much. You are so kind, and thank you very much for all of the plants all of the divisions and cuttings that you gave me. I will do my best to take really good care of them. So Chiara had these Paphiopedilums, a stressed Paphiopedilum. She tried to save, but she told me that she doesn't have so much experience with orchids, so she decided to give it to me. She told me there is no roots in here. I will unpot that and show you what we have soon. This one, is, if I'm not mistaken, is the Paphiopedilum Blackjack. It's a hybrid, it's a complex hybrid one. It has very dark, like burgundy blooms. So it's one of these super dark Paphiopedilums. I don't have any similar to this one, I think. So it will be interesting. It is mottled-leaved one, has dark leaves, and apparently has many fronds. So Chiara, if I save this one, if I root this Paphiopedilum well, I'll definitely divide and give you one portion of it. Thank you very much. That's a short background on this orchid. This one, it's an older orchid of me. Comes from Spice Exotic as well, is the Paphiopedilum belatulum. It's a species. I'm not sure if I have a whole video about it, probably not, but I have a short video. I will link it somewhere around this screen. It's another Paphiopedilum with mottled leaves. It bloomed for me this year. Oh my gosh, the blooms are very different from this one because they have a short flower spike and looks like a bulldog, I think. It's full of dots. And it's like white cream as well. Beautiful, beautiful plant. It has a few fronds here, but it needs to be repotted because the medium is all broken down. It has mold inside. I need to repot it. So I will show you how the root system looks like and what I'm gonna do about it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoy Paphiopedilum orchids, please leave a comment down below. Let me know which type of content you'd like to see here, and hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Without further ado, let's start this video. Not let's start this video, let's start this repotting, and I'm going to tell you how I do it and what we have in here. It's going to be a very interesting and different video. So Chiara told me that it doesn't have any roots, so I'm gonna use a small pot to repot that. It's a 9-centimeter pot or 5-inch one. I think it will fit inside since it doesn't have any root. Let's see what I have in here. Oh yeah. Oh, it has, oh, okay. It's already divided. It has 2 funds in here, which is great. Can you see it? We have 2 funds. This is 1 fund. She packed it in moss for me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spray some hydrogen peroxide 3%. Just to kill any pests or pathogens, that not all of the pathogens, but if it has, for example, mold or snails. I know it doesn't have any snails, but it has any snail eggs or some sort of things. Hydrogen peroxide 3% will kill it all. So that's the first thing that I'm gonna do. Letting it fizz. And I'm letting it fizz. Perfect. Since I notice I have 2 here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pot them separately because I wanna give one back to her. So as soon as it has some roots, I will give it back to her. Instead of potting them together, I'm pot one on this pot and the second one in another pot with the same size. I'm gonna use the same medium that I use for all of my orchids. So I'm gonna use moss on the base and I'm gonna intercalate it with bark to aerate the medium, but I will use a little bit more moss than what I use with my Phalaenopsis because Paphiopedilums are more moist tolerant than Phalaenopsis. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna just place some moss, bark on this pot, and I will pot these 2 plants, and I will show you when I'm done. Let's do it. Oh, you don't need to use transparent pot. You can use whatever you want to. I have transparent pot, so that's what I'm gonna do today, just to let you know. I use some slow release fertilizer and I link all of the material that I use, where I buy it, down below on the comments, on the description of this video. You find where I buy slow release fertilizer, bark, moss and everything in there. Just let you know. Another thing is I can see that the funds are growing here, so I need to give it some space. Nothing will grow on the back part of my orchid. So what I'm gonna do is place a little bit more of moss here. So something really important is, something really important, look at this mess, is not to leave any air pocket in the median. These are not epiphyte plants, so bark is already very aerated. So what I would do is I'm gonna try to make sure all of these spaces are filled with some median. Again, because these are terrestrial or semi-terrestrial plants, its roots doesn't grow in air, so it will need the median, and the median needs to be the right median for this kind of plants. Be careful with the air pockets if you're using the same median that you use with your epiphyte orchids, because if you leave air pockets for your Phalaenopsis, Cattleyas, they will love it. But if you leave lots of air pockets with your Paphiopedilum, when the roots find these air pockets, the roots will stop growing because it doesn't grow in the air. Just to let you know, that's what I'm doing here. I won't film the next one. You don't need to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna do the next thing that I've done with this one. They are basically the same plant, so I'm gonna use the same size pot, and I will do everything that I'm doing with this one. But I will show you my old one, because I think there are lots of mold in there, so I wanna just address a few issues. So there we go. I will give this plant a good watering, and I'm gonna show you when I finish everything. Hi guys, I have already finished potting the other two Paphiopedilums. So now I have here, this one is mine, Paphiopedilum Care. I love this pot, by the way. I think Wilco was selling that last year. So what I'm gonna have to do here is I will squeeze this pot and I'm gonna show you how bad this medium is. So it is here for more than a year. But the problem is, last year I bought a really bad bark. So as you can see, I hope you can see it, it's full of mold. And because Paphiopedilum likes it moist, I was keeping the pot very moist. What happened is this degraded and became completely wasted in 1 year. So what I'm gonna do here, in this case, specifically about this Paphiopedilum, I have to remove all the bark and moss from this root. I will water it and I'm gonna throw some hydrogen peroxide just to take the excess of mold out. It's smelling like mold. It's that bad. Anyway, it's normal for bark to have some mold because it's organic material and everything that degrades, and that's wood degrading, so it will have some mold. But I think now it's too much and I want to offer it a new medium, you know, something fresher, better quality that I know it can be there for longer. But when I bought it, it didn't have many roots, and I can see that now it has some. Not like the most amazing root system, but it has some roots. And another thing is they have fuzzy roots, so be careful when you remove it for you not to break and destroy any root. Mine doesn't have super amazing amount of roots, so I don't want to stress them so much. I want to keep my plant healthy, so I will do my best to be very gentle here. Oh, look at that, something here. Look. Oh, not the same plant. I have a baby here. I have a baby Paphiopedilum Care. I have the mother plant and the baby one. Oh, so cute, sorry. Oh my goodness, that's a nice thing. I think it grew this pot here. Oh, okay, great. I potted them together. It would be nice to have many flowers. They are so nice. So I pot them together. At some point I have divisions, I'll let you guys know. For now I will keep them together because I think they will look really nice together. So I'm gonna give you a close-up how it looks now, but I will water it later. And I will have to throw all of these away. And I'm gonna use, I think, the same pot because the roots fit well here. Don't need to provide it to give any different pot than that. I will water everything. I'm gonna water the baby as well. I'm gonna pot them together. Let me show you how it looks. As you can see here, most of the roots are alive, so I don't have many dead roots or anything like that. It's quite healthy, to be honest. Could be even more, but it's okay. This one here is the baby that was with the mother plant. I will pot it together. Hopefully soon I will have many babies, many flowers, many blooms. It's a beautiful plant. So yeah, so I'm back. I have washed these roots. I didn't want to remove everything because I don't want to disturb the root system too much. But there are some dead roots. It's the same thing when you touch it and it's like papery, you can cut it. The root is dead. So I found some dead roots here in the middle of the root ball. And that the same thing, this one, I think, because was basically almost bearding side with the mother plant. Most of the roots weren't really healthy, but hopefully it will survive. So I will pot them both together in the same pot again, because as you can see, it does fit well, you know. They grow very slowly, so I'm not worried about that. So I'm gonna spray some hydrogen peroxide. No, it doesn't have any pests, you know, I have it for a while now. But I want to take the rest of the mold spores away because the other medium was so bad that I don't want any to go through the new pot. I'm gonna do the same one with the baby plant, and that's it. So here I have both of them. I'm going to use moss and bark to pot this orchid. It was potted in moss and bark before, so I don't think it will have any problem to adapt. And I'm going to use the same pots. Basically, I'm doing the same thing that I've done with the other one. So I'm gonna probably skip these videos so I don't bore you to death with this whole process because it's the same thing. So I won't do anything like a new or different, or it's gonna be basically exactly the same thing. So here it's my orchid. I'm gonna place this towards the middle because I have a baby one now, and I'm gonna make the baby one something around here. And let's see how can I place them both together. Paphiopedilum in my language, it's a he, it's a masculine word, and my mother tongue is Portuguese. So in Portuguese, the word has gender. So Paphiopedilum is a he. So for me, they are all boys. But as I mentioned in the beginning of the video, we have Mrs. White there. So she's a girl, according to her own name. But it's funny. But yeah, I can't imagine them as girls, and whatever, it doesn't mean anything. Plants don't have exactly gender. Some of them, they carry both genders together. So it's just the words and how we grew up with them. They can be quite unfair sometimes. I do believe my language is quite sexist in many terms, because every time you want to refer to big amount of people, and it's always in the masculine terms. It's funny, but for me, it's still a he. It's just my imagination. We can imagine whatever we want. We are human beings, and we just create stuff all the time. We imagine a world. We imagine the things that we want to imagine, how the things could be. It's basically a huge creation. Language is a huge creation from humanity. So does our relationship with other beings in nature as well. I'm sorry, I'm like blabbing here about it. Anything, just thinking about words and meanings. I don't know if what I'm saying makes any sense. It has nothing to do about repotting a plant. So again, I'm just filling all the gaps in here that I have all the air pockets, because this one is a terrestrial or semi-terrestrial orchid. It needs lots of humidity. The roots won't grow in there. So if I want this one to develop itself, it needs to have medium around its root, not be exposed to huge air gaps, as I mentioned with the other one. So I'm doing my best here. It's quite hard when we have to pot two together. Usually it's only one, but this time I had two.
I hope the battery is still running because doesn't last much. Yeah.
I have so many orchids to report, but I won't film all of them. Guys, let me know if you want to see something in particular. So hi guys, thank you for hanging up with me until here. I know that this video was a long video because I basically reported 3 Paphiopedilums, but I have all of them here with me now. I will give them a good watering. I don't want to stress them more than they are already stressed. As you saw on the close-up, these ones are very dehydrated, very stressed, so hopefully I can save them both. This one is healthy, has a nice root system. It's completely free from that old median, and it's a baby as well, so I'm quite happy. I super advise you to have Paphiopedilum if you are a beginner, and people that are into orchids. Most of the people already got Paphiopedilum. Not everyone loves them because, as I mentioned, they are different. They are quite slow growing orchids. They are not epiphyte. They're a little bit different, but I think that's amazing about orchids because we have so many varieties there. We have a huge range of type of orchids that you can choose and decide if you want to give it a go. Anyway, these are my 3 Paphiopedilums. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you had, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. I will leave you now with some footage from these plants and also my Mrs. White. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Bye bye.